Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're all doing okay. Hope you've had a great week. It's been in Null-sec, as far as I can see, it has been a quiet week, and as opposed to actual conflicts going on, not just in our space, but all around the universe. There's not been a huge amount of like big fights going on. We are going to come to a very big fight that happened last night in a minute. But first of all, I do have a couple channel members to thank for joining and being YouTube channel members. So we got Daniel Parker, we've got Wolfie Slayer, Sausage and Eve, which is also Rambo, and Sally Solomon. So thank you so much, guys, for being YouTube member. You get early access to videos, you get the first dibs on the videos, you also will be getting some members only videos coming up in the near future. So huge thank you for that. And it's about half of what a coffee costs from a shop, so it's actually not a bad deal. So if you do want to support me on the YouTube's stuffs and things, you can join and always be a channel member. But if you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. A like on the video would be great. Or if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, we are aiming for 10,000 subs by the end of the year. It's a very optimistic goal, but I think we can get there, guys. I think we can get there throughout the between now and the end of the year. I think we can do it with you guys helping me out. So first of all, we are looking at the map. So as you can see, we are slowly starting to get some answer blexes going up now. So we have one from our capital directly to EFM, which means we are 2 jumps from GTAC-Q, which means we've been getting a lot of fights around here. Now, there has been fleets, many fleets going out where they come in here and then they sort of do like a lap around the space here. So you come in here, go along here to there, and then come back round again. It's quite funny actually, because we get their capital pilots jumping around and the fleet's going back and forth to chase us. It is quite funny. Some good fights there. Some dunks have been going on where, you know, as to be expected, we jump in a fleet into their space. They drop dreadnoughts in capitals. It's to be expected. It's normal for Null-sec alliances to do it. I can guarantee you, if they brought big like 250-man fleet into our space, they'd be getting dropped as well. So I'm not going to throw, as I always say, I'm not going to throw shade on them for doing that, because we would do it as well. Yet to see a 250-man fleet cross into our space, or a battleship fleet come into our space as of yet. We've seen some of their fleets up here, but that's because it's out of range of our dreads, so they're relatively safe in bringing their battleship fleets up into cache, which is now believe is only down to one constellation is owned by Northern Coalition. I believe it's this constellation here, and we own the rest of it. But that's not what I want to be looking at. So if you have not seen or heard, there was a fight in a system called, let me just bring that information up, Nakah, Nakah, in Derelik last night. I was not online, but this was one hell of a brawl. Once again, low-sec is showing Null-sec how fights actually go down. There is many factors that involve these, that allow these fights to happen, where, you know, these groups can drop hundreds of dreadnoughts, and if they get bumped out, or they're out of range of stuff, they can just de-siege and jump out instantly. They don't have to worry about being bubbled and held on grid by loads and loads of interdictors. So they're a little bit on the safer side on that end, because they're not going to get bubbled in system. They can de-siege and jump out if they need to, unless they are being tackled by a frigate, for example. So that's why stuff like this is more common in low-sec, not to draw any glory away from these fights, because they are really good fights. It's exactly what the game needs. So Null-sec is kind of not really doing that kind of thing at the minute, especially around here, because the regional, and then, you know, whatever capital goes across that regional, it's dead. It's not coming back at all. It is not coming back. So basically, let's have a quick look. Let me see if I can bring up the fight. There we are. So this was the fight. It was in Nakah? Yeah, we'll go with that. From 6 PM to 9 PM last night, nearly 1 trillion ISK was killed. This is another big dread fight that's gone down in low-sec, and you'll notice the main groups our Winter Coalition with Fraternity, Siberian Squads, Test Alliance, and Snuffed out, absolute will and absolute honor and absolute glory. So I've been told by a few people now. Thank you very much for the information, by the way, guys. Really, really appreciate it. As always, I will always keep your information confidential. That's the word, confidential. God, I'll always keep your details confidential. So thank you so much for updating me. So what looks like here, Fraternity has actually deployed to destroy AO, and that is partially down to the Chinese drama between those groups. So Fraternity has deployed to directly attack them. Snuff and a couple of the guys have been temporary friends for this because, well, Snuff was getting involved in Aquarius fort defense, which happened the other day. No, I don't believe that that fight went ahead. Apart from that video that I did, that I looked at and showed you a bit about, nothing really went ahead with that. It was a blue ball, as far as I'm aware. And so Snuff have been attacking Phoenix Coalition in the north. At a defense in Kara, they came to shoot the Synergy, but Synergy didn't show up because of the drama with Only Fleets was just starting. So there is drama between Synergy of Steel and Phoenix Coalition and Only Fleets. We'll go into that in a minute. Snuff is in a lot of Null-sec because they're not based on it's because Fraternity has been targeting Snuff forts in Null-sec, so they joined our attack on the Nakah fort yesterday, which, as you can see, did actually die. The Fraternity Fortizar died. Fraternity lost a lot of Zenitras. Well, I'll say a lot. That's enough of Zenitras. Some Revelation navies, some Phoenix navies, Moros navies, and some normal dreadnoughts were involved as well. There was quite a few dreads on field by the looks of it, and there was quite a lot of them were that won't open. So quite a few dreads were lost on this side as well. These are just standard dreadnoughts, not your navy issue ones. We've got some, then we've got the navy issue dreadnoughts here. Snuff were dropping their dreadnoughts. I think Snuff didn't lose a dreadnought by the... Oh, no, they did. There we are. 1, 2... I think they only lost 2 dreadnoughts by the looks of it. But this is also RMC Coalition, which is Red Alliance, CVA, and some of the others, Absolute and whatnot. So they've been having some really good brawls in Null-sec. And Deepwater Hooligans, Big Ab, they came into third party on it because why not? I mean, it's a big Null-sec brawl with loads of, dreadnoughts on field. So yeah, so there's a lot been going on here. So I'm going to try my best to keep following Fraternity and Absolute conflict, because that seems like internal Chinese drama that's going on from Serenity. If someone correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe that Absolute and Fraternity are Absolute honor and all that sort of stuff. Fraternity had drama on Serenity, and now they've brought that drama over here, which is now unfolding out into lots of dreadnought fights, which is really, really good to see. Hopefully more of these happen. I'm hoping maybe if I can get a heads up on one next time, because I don't live anywhere near them, it's kind of hard for me to know what's going to happen when. But if anyone can, let me know when something's going to go down, or like there's a structure reinforced, an important structure reinforced, and I can try and get a camera there to do a video on it. That would be cool to actually see this stuff. I did stream that other big brawl that they did, which was really cool. So yeah, there's that was just under 1 trillion-isk and about 100 billion. What's 100 billion between friends, right? There was 925 pilots, and yeah, it was relatively even numbers as well. That's really cool to see. It's not just like completely landslided on one side. But that was really, really cool. That looks really good fight. There's a lot of dreadnoughts dying, which is always good. And so that is done. I do want to go over a couple kill mails, as you can probably see across the top. I've got some things that I want to look at, and this is just wider Eve news. This is not specific to Null-sec, not specific to Null-sec. This is just wider Eve news. So there was a Tatara, a Synergy of Steel Tatara. You might have seen it on Zkill, has been destroyed by Fraternity. So Synergy of Steel, Phoenix Coalition lost a 71 billion-isk Tatara, which it wouldn't be that bad if they didn't have those T2 rigs on. Where are they? There we are. those T2 rigs, the reprocessing and reactor efficiency, were 23 billion for one, 33 billion for the other. So that is an expensive Tatara to lose. But I don't think they could. You know, Fraternity had quite a fleet. They had a Sacrilege fleet, and it's really nice to see Sacrileges coming back out in space. It's been a long time since they came out. Fraternity also brought a Cyclone fleet issue fleet, a Stormbringer fleet, and it's good to see the Stormbringer doctrine coming back out, and then obviously loads of tackle and stuff like that. So that was a nice little kill mail. That was in PF TAC KU. I know exactly where that is. I used to live not far from there. That was cool. Good little area they've got there. Okay, never mind. It was not quite near me. I was up here. I used to live, well, my old HQ was there, and I used to do some PvE around here. But PF TAC is here, so it looks like it's quite central to Synergy Space. But obviously they're all within Black Ops range and Cyno range of where Fraternity is staged out of, where they've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dreadnoughts docked in those NPC stations. So yeah, that's a damn good kill mail. That is one hell of a tasty kill mail. So next we've got a random extra large ship maintenance array, which if you don't know what these are, these can store capital ships in. Now this looks like what's happened here is a control tower either ran out of fuel or died, or possibly been there a long time, maybe by the looks of it. And these guys happen to stumble across it. You see these every so often, and sometimes they have super carriers and stuff like that, Titans in them. Maybe not Titans, but Titans can fit in those. And it's a cheap way without a Fortizar or anything like that to store dreadnoughts or a Keepstar. It's a way to store super carriers and stuff like that. Normally, it's a good idea to have the pos shield up by while you've got stuff inside. But as you can see, there was a Phoenix Navy issue, fitted Phoenix Navy issue in here, which looked like it was a PvE fit by the. Well, there's no points, there's no scrams, there's no webs or anything, and it's an extra large torpedo launcher, so it's not a high angle weapon fit, so it's not a PvE. What? I don't understand that fit. Abyssal. Must be for dunking on people, crabbing, or making money. But it's it died. It got nuked by these three guys here. So if you have something like this in Null-sec or low-sec, make sure the pos shield is up. Might be worth going checking on it. Wyvern. Now you might be wondering why I'm looking at this Wyvern, but this Wyvern is one. If you're an old Eve Time player, you will know something very interesting about the fit. And two. He's off a star, like a 1.7 AU away from a star, so he's in the middle of the system. This guy logged out a long time ago. His last time he logged in and killed anything was in 2010, and he lost a Chimera in 2010 when he was obviously in AAA against all authorities. So he's logged in yesterday, to check. I don't know whether to jump out but he must have been spotted, because they don't just this sort of stuff doesn't just happen. He must have been spotted logging that on previously, and these guys had managed to get a heavy interdictor with a Cyno on. Would it have been a heavy interdictor? It should have been a heavy interdictor, unless it was an Arazu. But I wouldn't have suspected an Arazu could have. I don't know. That should have been a heavy interdictor there to stop that warping, unless the Arazu and the Proteus and the others got scram on it. But I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people pointed it. They jumped Black Ops in to hold it down, and then while everyone else was jumping in. But yeah, large core defense field extender rigs. That's a legacy rig on there. So they used to be there never used to be capital rigs back then. Never used to be capital rigs, so it was a large legacy fitted Wyvern. Also a lot of stuff in the cargo, so he basically pulled everything out and logged out of the game and not to return. If there was any other story behind this, like he was giving it to someone, or it was a trade gone wrong, or I don't know. There's a lot of loot in here to say that it must have just been a suitcase as well. But the main one that I want to look at is this, to me, looks like an old slow cat fit. Now, a slow cat is an old carrier / super carrier doctrine that used to remote rep each other and remote cap transfer each other. And it was insanely powerful because you'd have 50 of these all cap chaining and remote shield repping each other, and they were brutal to try and kill in big numbers. And it looks like that's how it's fit. So it's a large buffer fit with cap recharges there, power diagnostics, and the remote cap transfer. So that's a very, very old fit. That's a, well, it's a 15-year-old fit, that is. So it's interesting that that's just suddenly come back and died. And so we got that. Let's get rid of there. So Legion of X-Death. I do want to go over to Aquarius and Legion X-Death and all that sort of stuff now. These guys have been killing... Siege Green and Legion of X-Death have been working together to kill Drake and, obviously Fraternity. Zerg Reborn, Synergy of Steel. Because... Hang on, wait, no, Synergy of Steel are... I keep getting mixed up. Synergy of Steel are not friendly with Legion of X-Death as far as I'm aware, or are they? I keep forgetting who's... Because there's so many groups trying working here. I know... Okay, no. So, Legion of X-Death been killing these guys. Who else? Only Fleets have basically turned their back on Phoenix Coalition, and I don't think that they there's a lot of drama going on between these groups. Right, okay, looking at some notes. I've had to go back and look at notes because it may seem like it's not that hard, but when you're trying to remember there's three different groups in the space and who's part of what group, because there's obviously all the backstabbing that's been going on and all that sort of stuff, and people resetting and so on. So X-Death and Siege Green have joined Phoenix Coalition, which is Synergy. Then you've got Can I Bring My Drake? Zerg Reborn is all part of like a streamer coalition or something like that. And essentially, my God. So essentially, Phoenix Coalition have been fighting Only Fleets, mainly because Only Fleets have... I think Only Fleets, Siege Green, and X-Death came in as friends, and then, Only Fleets turned the back on Legion of X-Death because X-Death were trying to rent systems out to people. I've had that many... I'm not going to lie to you. I've had a lot of people messaging me, and it's all getting mixed up in translation. So we're going to try and keep this as simple as possible. So there's lots of stuff dying in Delve and Aquarius, and so you've got Drake's Lair, Zerg, Luna. They're part of a coalition, as far as I am aware. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Synergy of Steel. Not Only Fleets. These guys, Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork. I believe they will start part of Phoenix Coalition, X-Death, and then it is essentially Only Fleets versus everyone else, as far as I'm aware. I am going to try and get some solid confirmation on who's who. I'm going to put it on a sticky note and put it on my wall just so I can remember for next time I do something like this, because it's hard to remember. Now, there is also a hell that has died in... Where was this? Khmer in Iridia. Now, this guy, he was part of Polaris Mercenary Alliance, which, by the looks of it, he also, they used to work with Fraternity, maybe. Unless Fraternity just hoard on that, I don't know. But yeah, it looks like they used to work with Fraternity. And he hasn't been in the game for a while, for 6 years. Interesting. That's his, yeah. So he left the game about 6 years ago, nearly 6 years ago, came back in, logged in Iridia, or jumped in Iridia, and maybe at a station or a moon, logged off somewhere or in a pause, but then he got caught out. So there you are. There's the heavy interdictor, and it looks like, oh, he got schloopened. There you go. They are, Shaloupin are very good at hunting capitals in Iridia, by the way. So if you are taking any capital ships in Iridia and you do not have a citadel, you know, stepping stone, don't do it. Those guys will get you. I'm telling you now, they will get you. They are extremely good at hunting down capitals and finding where people are and stuff like that. They've got eyes everywhere. I just don't know how they do it. They're a bit inhuman when it comes to that kind of hunting capitals. They're incredibly good at it. So we are going to be keeping an eye on Only Fleets, Legion of Exdeath, Phoenix Coalition, which is also Legion of Exdeath. Why did I just say those names twice? So we've got to keep an eye on all of this going on over there, and we're going to be keeping an eye over on Derelik, which is the Fraternity and AO conflict. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. I don't know if Init are still hitting Fraternity up in their space. I don't think they are. Where was it? Was it Declan or Branch? Yeah, there's nothing going on up here at all. And I don't know if Horde and Fraternity are going at each other's throats again either. So basically, all the conflict at the minute looks like it. Hang on, have I got the right? There we are. All the conflicts look like they're going in. I wouldn't even say here anymore. The kind of conflicts that we've been having has died down. All the conflicts are really in this part of space here, which is interesting because there's just been a huge power vacuum over there. So that's why all the conflict is going on in Aquarius, because the power vacuum. Then you've got all the stuff in Derelik, which I don't even know why Derelik is relevant to this, but they're hitting because they've still got to come across all the Fraternity have to reinforce all the way across here, which is a nightmare with dreadnoughts, but they're doing it and they're hitting stuff over here. Fair play. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that one. But guys, it's been a very slow week in regards to it's been a slow week in regards to actual news that's going on. I have reached out to a couple more people for these interviews. A couple people I reached out to initially have gone cold, have gone quiet on me. So I'm just waiting for them to get back to me. I have given them another poke to see if they will talk to me. I have reached out to a couple more people, so we've got some more coming. We've got some low-sec guys. Hopefully going to have a high-sec guy coming in. I'm going to be looking for someone in one of the big wormhole groups to have a chat. So I want to kind of get a perspective of everything that's going on in the game. But as I said at the start of the video, guys, if you are new to the channel, subscribe at the bottom. I would really appreciate me helping me get to that 10,000 subscribers goal. And also, if you did enjoy it, a like on the video, and also let me know what's going on in your part of the space. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what's going on, no matter how big or small or anything that's going on in your space. Apart from maybe you just mined a rock or you just salvaged a wreck. You know, keep it keep it that kind of newsworthy. But if there's something big going on in your area, whether it's NPC null-sec or if it's low-sec or if it's high-sec wars or something like that, let me know. We are going to be looking at doing some other kind of news as well on the economy. I know that's already covered by Oz and his Oz report, and he's probably a better person to watch about the economy than me. But we're going to be doing a look at sort of industry changes, in manufacturing lines, making capital ships. We've got a lot of new stuff coming. So hope you are excited for that, guys. But for now, take care. I'll see you later in the week. Have a good evening.